And good afternoon, evening, and morning for some of you enthusiasts and hooligans out there. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not seeing it weird. Yes, this is a live thing going on. No, it's not a panel hangout. It's just me sitting at the computer because, wait a minute, show of hands, who actually read the description so far? Well, you know what? You were complaining about it, and I thought, you know what? I think I can trust them to this point. Now, don't make me regret it. But yeah, so for everyone, normally today would have been the next motovlog installment, which I've noticed I have quite the pattern emerging in the topics I've been doing the videos about. So, as we know, the first one was evaluating friendships and everything associated with that. And then I followed that up with being humble and keeping that appropriate frame of reference. Now, I will clue you guys into the working title of the next one, which thankfully I will have better weather this weekend to record it where I want to. And the title of that one's going to be Dream Big. Because think about that progression. Talking about who you associate with and the impact that the type of people that you're around can have on your progression, be it personally or professionally. And then reminding everyone to stay humble, remember your roots, don't forget where you came from. And now, well, why are those two things important? Well, success is a thing. And in order to achieve success in whichever realm you're really focusing on, be it personally outside of work, just with friends and life, away from the money making avenue, or professional success, one of the common things you have to do is dream big and take a little bit of risk. So that's going to be that topic for the video, which I attempted twice to record earlier this week. Both times I had issues with the camera. I tried to record it yesterday in the last stretch of nice weather before the wonderful overcast and shitty looks that we've had today. So it didn't turn out. The audio was messed up on the first try. The second try, it didn't even frickin' record it. But it recorded later material that I got on the way home, so fucking bastards. So looking at the weather reports as of right now, we're actually going to have a couple pretty warm days this weekend that are supposed to be on the bright side. And in that, I mean actual sunny, bright days, which is beautiful for the area that I'm going to be recording in. And for those who might be aware of the area, all I'm going to say is Newport, Rhode Island, along the waterfront. Some of you will know and will immediately be looking forward to it. Others are going to have to look into it, and that's perfectly fine. And no, not every time does it eat a chain or well, wait, no, I'm in New England. Every time I ride, there's an asshat somewhere in front of me doing something stupid. It's actually the reason why I got the camera on the helmet in the first place. You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I was down in the area that I'm going to be recording, but I was in the car with the wife, and there was this old lady, confused as shit, driving around. And you know what? I am going to pull this up on Google Earth because the shit that this woman pulled, I really wish that I had. I really wish I was on the bike and had the camera going. Why? Because it's just. All right, let me go ahead and open the program, and then you'll understand why. And Google Earth Pro. And of course it opens it up on the wrong monitor. There we go. I don't care about that. Let the party start. Oh, the party never stopped. Ooh, a little too far. That's up in the main. Let's come down over here. Let's twist this a little bit. All right. So, for all of those wondering, this is one of the on-ramps to go over the Pell Bridge to get off of the island here in Newport, down in Newport, to go back to the mainland of Rhode Island, if you really want to call it that. But so what this woman did, we're driving down this lane here, which, as you can see right up here, has an exit to the ramp to go towards the bridge, but then this other exit that goes off up over here to get you down to this way. This old woman decided, instead of taking this lane, she went into this lane here, which is oncoming traffic the wrong fucking way. Yeah, thankfully there was no one immediately coming down to hit her head on, but holy shit, I bet you she filled those depends seconds after she made that decision. Now we're out from finishing 24-hour rotation at work. I don't miss those days. Around here, if you make eye contact with a little old lady on the road, it means she's about to pull out in front of you. Nice. Yes, and you're staying that way, Pig. Because guess what? You wished. If you want to give Pig the treatment that he usually gives other people, by all means, go for it. Hey, and the microblog is awake and playing a game. Gotta love Steam for letting you know that shit sometimes. But so yeah, that's one of the moments that was the genesis of why I got the camera for when I'm on the bike, but then I'm in the car and I miss something beautiful like that. Because just think about the entry into a video that would have made. You can't see the Look a Pig account? That's weird. Interesting. Well, you know what? I'll do it for you then. Now, Jay, whacking the pig will lead him to think naughty things. Same thing with the word that starts with S and ends in a similar sound as whack. That's why I say, when it comes to Pig, that's how we skewer him. Oh, Casual Spaceman, don't worry. That's because you like how we are. We are definitely an assholey bunch. But generally speaking, we're only assholes to people who deserve it. Or someone who's done something to earn that sort of behavior. Alright, so one of the things I decided last minute to do on this, because, well, it is the Moto channel, what better place to do a little bit of experimentation, is to see just how much this idea will bog down the resources of my system. So right now, All I have open and running are the applicable windows for the pop-out chat, OBS, and also stream health and a couple other things, depending on what I want to do. But one of the things that I actually considered doing, which I think this is a best place to test it for anyone, better here, is let's see if I can play this game and stream at the same time from my connection. Oh, Marvel Girl, yes. Generally, for the most part, the more of a hard time we give you, the more we like it. And see, that's the thing. Sometimes some people get it confused. Some people get that military type of badgering wrong, where we make fun of the people we like the most because we think you can handle it and we find it funny as fuck. Or or we really, really, really fucking hate you. That's the thing. It really is that much of an extreme. We either like you and think you can handle it, or we absolutely hate you. If you're in that in-between where we don't really like you, we ignore your existence. I don't think I saw that. Alright, so let's see here. Did I? Okay, yep, I unmuted that. There we go. I saw the notification for the new Picard trailer, and I have not watched it yet. Because part of me is afraid. Very afraid. Because of how wonderfully inconsistent these people have been. So, yeah. I have my doubts. A little bit of buffering, but not bad. And okay. And CPU usage is recovering. But the stream health is still good. So that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and turn that volume down. Alright. So, for those who can't tell, yes, my primary account that I've been playing on this, I did get up to level 62 as a fleet admiral. But is anyone really surprised? Actually, let's go into this one. Because I think you guys might get a kick out of Alright, where am I? Okay. Oh, I'm outside of that. Alright. Alright, let's go to... Oh, really? Alright, so it doesn't... Damn thing. Kind of hate when you're out of a transwarp and just want to do something quick. But yeah, I figured I would show you guys the fleet that I have in this game. Alright. What I am impressed with, though, is while the frame rate is lower than I'd like it to be, my CPU usage is actually lower now than it was before. watch it after. Oh, yeah. But, oh, come on. How much longer is this going to take? Okay. I got another minute or so. It's been like years. You know, it's been a while since I played it before a few days ago. And I decided to come back to it because, why the hell not? But, so, for those who couldn't already tell, yeah, I have a Defiant variant. Oh, I didn't notice that it had dropped out. See, every time I look at my stream health here in OBS, I'm still getting green. This is one of those things, I guess the gameplay stuff would probably be better with the, to record it and then render and upload. But see, this is why. This is why I wanted to test it. Test it with this game, which is more resource intense, but we will see. Come on, just go ahead and get to Starbase 1 so I can show you the rest of the fleet. Yep, enter the Sol system. Whee! Yeah, yes, I do talk like a madman sometimes. God, I did. You know what? Question for you guys. The Star Trek Discovery episode in STO. Should I give it a chance and play or not? Alright, well... God, it's being laggy. Now let's do it this way. There we go. Okay. So, here is the ship that I'm currently in right now. They pretty much call it the Defiant Refit. But the one that I started with, where are you? Right here. They started me out with a Miranda class. So, it's like a prequel. Alright, so this game is a little bit of resource intensive. But to give you guys an idea, This is the only one not from a Greco-Roman influence. So yeah, have the Kitty Hawk. Had to. But then we have the Olympic, the Poseidon. Oh yeah, I did a Ranger, the another carrier. But then followed it up with the Themistocles, Trident, Vesuvius. But I think I'm going to transfer back to this one, which is a sovereign class named the Rhodesia. But we shall see. And you know what? This game is eating up a little too much of the resources, so let's go ahead and exit out of it. And boom, gone. And look at that. The stream went back to better health. Although, do have another test. And actually, let me see. Is the Geostriber out there? Of course not. Damn German. But he may watch this later if you guys pester him enough. Let's see how this one runs.
Welcome to Voyager Elcar's ecosystem.
Yeah, the unfortunate bit with this game, in order to exit out of it, there we go. There we go. Damn thing. There we go. There we go. Now it's letting me do what I want. Huh. So I wonder, does it not? Ooh. See, now this is a good thing to know. So, aha. All right then. That is a good thing to know. So, where the hell is the chat? There it is. There we go. Right down to Texas and come right to... Oh, the Piney Woods. I've been through there... Oh, fuck. When was that? 2003? When I was in A school, a friend of mine was from outside of Waco. The Waco-Killeen area. And he... there were a couple weekends we went back out towards that neck of the woods and had fun. Actually, we almost got his truck stuck in those woods one weekend. Another weekend, we did get the truck stuck in some of the trails next to Fort Hood. But for those wondering, I was trying to see if we could stream the game Elite Force, which is a, guess you could call it first-person shoot. Yeah, it's a first-person shooter Star Trek version based on Voyager, which... But Voyager is better than Discovery, so I will give it that. But streaming Elite Force will not work through OBS. At least not the OBS that I have set up, which is fine. And see, that's the thing. A night like tonight, a day like today, I can run these experiments and figure things out, and that's fine. And yeah, it's on the smaller channel, so no, not as many people got the notification. But you know what? You got to start somewhere. You got to start with a proper, good base. Not everything can take off like a rocket. And one thing I keep reminding my wife is a lot of times when things have too much success too quickly, they tend to fizzle out and then fade away. To have something that is successful with staying power, you gotta have more of a slow build up. And yeah, take that any way you want, guys. I just heard it and know that.
Logging off L-Car's menu system.
Yeah, I know you guys will take that previous statement a little more on the, shall we say, performance based motif. Although the pig has been quiet since being put in the corner, I wonder if he realizes he was only timed out. The back roads. You know, I would hope someone who grew up in that area would have taken me on those back roads. But it wouldn't surprise me if there were bits that he didn't end up taking me to because he wasn't sure himself if he could get the vehicle out of there. So, can you set the game in? So, Jay, what I noticed with that game, no, what happened was it runs so much like an old platform machine that in order to exit out of the game on the screen, you can't Alt-Tab. You have to do a Control-Alt-Delete. And it messes with the display capture enough that OBS does not do any display capture when that game is up and running. Because normally, and that's the thing, with two displays, if it doesn't capture one display, it usually will still capture the other. In this case, with Elite Force running, it didn't capture either of them. It didn't even let the meeting capture, which is the capture for my second display, it changed nothing. Down to Tyler, over to Athens, then down into Rusk. Okay, yeah, see, that Tyler, Texas area is where we got stuck. I'm scared of them. 6-4. You know, well, here's the thing, Jimmy. The Monster 600 series that I have is, and even so, for those who didn't watch the video before, actually, I will have to pull up the link to it, and after all this, I'll link directly to the video I'm referring to after. But I talked about the bike that really caught my attention at the Ready for Red event, which is the new version of the Ducati Scrambler, the Cafe Racer. It's a beautiful silver and blue color scheme. But that is an 800cc L-twin engine. But its power and torque performance is on par with the 620cc that I'm running on my Monster right now. And those engines are actually not much stronger than what you're running in the EX400. It's not quite a true beginner bike, but it is definitely a more tame machine compared to, well, like this one on the screen right now. That was the GP7. Yeah, that was the GP07, the actual MotoGP bike. So, part of it really is a tuning, and then the other part of it is your control, your throttle response, and your comfort. With me, I've noticed the more that I ride, the more I notice just how supple the suspension is on my Monster, which makes it great for a commuting bike. But when I want to push the pace a little bit and ride a little bit more towards the edge of the performance envelope, I have to rein it in a bit because the suspension is not set up in a way conducive with that sort of harder technical riding. And that's part of why I'm looking at down the road, not sure exactly when at this point, but soon enough, I will have a road toy, a true sport bike alternative for those more aggressive rides, and also getting onto the track down the road as well, because that's where I'll really be able to push that machine to its limits, either one. But I don't see me taking this beauty, the monster, to the track itself, just because it has the more touring tires on it. The front suspension is stock, non-adjustable, and so I can't tune the suspension for track versus street on the monster. But all of the more sport bikes that I'm looking at, either the 748, 916 family, the 1098 family, which beautiful shot of Bayless right there, those all come with some level of adjustability for the front suspension. And that's what I really want. I want to make sure that I can have the suspension tailored to both my weight and riding style of that more aggressive bike. I could conceivably update and upgrade the front end of the monster to have that built-in adjustability, but the starting price of rebuilding the front suspension to where it is fully adjustable starts at $2,000. And that's with me rebuilding the fork tubes myself and then having someone do the work to dial it in. And the parts alone, the new cartridge kit alone for that bike is $1,500 before shipping, taxes, or any of that other nuanced bullshit. So that's where I'm like, I really want that flexibility and to be able to dial in the suspension to really get the most out of that bike. But if I'm going to be dropping $2,000 to $2,500 just for front suspension alone, I can save double that and then buy the sport bike used outright and already have the adjustability there. So that's where we'll get. It'll be more interesting to see how things play out in that aspect and which ones I go with, because now that I've had the gray bike and the visuals have stuck out to me, I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with either the red or yellow for the sport bike. Then again, if I'm taking it to the track, it's going to have a second set of fairings for it anyways. So that way I don't have to worry about dings, dents, or scratching them up from being on the track. So, that's another thing. There's a lot of the other investment side that I have to consider before doing this. But think about this. What do you guys think about having some of the footage of me on the bike being on a closed circuit track, actually getting into the full race mode, the full performance mode, and actually ripping through the corners and like that? Because there are a couple of tracks around here that do regular track days. I just would have more riding gear to invest in, the different mounts, so I could take the camera on the bike on the track, because they do have certain mounting requirements that would have to be met. But then also the tires, suspension investments, and this really does end up being an expensive freaking hobby when you get into it. You just have a wimpy Honda 500 Interceptor and learn real quick that I need more. More than two wheels. Well, see, I enjoy being on two wheels because honestly, I enjoy the cornering aspect and that sort of performance of a motorcycle compared to a car. Uh, yeah, performance cars can be fun, but to me, I enjoy being on the machine, and when you'll notice in some of the videos and footage, especially as more of it comes out, when I really have a good read of the corner and my speed and my line, you'll see that the instrument cluster and handlebars almost completely go out of view of the camera. And that's because I'm doing that proper technique of setting my speed, getting started on the line, but then I turn my shoulders slightly and point my chin through the turn, so it's like I'm holding the bike off away from me as I'm looking around to guide the bike through a good 75, 80, 100 feet along. So that's where I see it being interesting and getting into more of that technical style of riding, which is what I've always enjoyed doing. Okay, so it's a hard yes on the track footage. All right. So with that, I can take the monster onto the track with just a few modifications made to it. I will have to look into the mounting of the camera more. I know they're going to have tether requirements and this, that, and the other. Um, but it will not be able to be mounted to my helmet for the ride on the track. It will have to be on the bike itself. Um, and probably could get away with just tweaking the preload and rebound on the rear end initially for the track, but then I'm also going to have to get the safety wire and other fun stuff, but alright. I will start looking more into that for you guys to actually get on the track. I know just riding gear alone at this point, I'm looking at another almost $900 investment between the actual leather track pants, which will connect to one of the jackets that I already have, so I'm good on that aspect. But then there's the actual track boots, which glad I already know my size there. Love my Grom. It barely keeps up with traffic, but it's a good starter. That is something that I have heard about the Honda Grom. And there was actually a video released either early this week, end of last week, by Yami Noob, where he was talking about the A1 level European standard for bikes, for people who are at that lower level in that part of the world. And one of the bikes he recommended was the Honda Grom, and he mentioned going on the interstate with the Grom. And sorry, I heard that and laughed my fucking balls off, because doesn't the Grom top out at 60 miles an hour? I mean, my monster, she's happy at 60. She's happier at 70. And the other day I was cruising along at 90 and didn't even realize it, didn't feel any difference. So there is something to say about that slightly bigger engine. It does do better with the faster pace. Should pay for my life insurance. The wife will agree with that one, but actually, I haven't checked up on that policy in a while. I should verify all that stuff again to make sure everything's up to date there. I mean, I've only been riding for a few months now. I mean, What better time? Oh, yeah. The better time would have been before the riding season. Bought mine for 1,100 use. This is 250. I can put a larger sprocket on it to make it go fast. Ooh, okay. Talking about gearing. So, the top speed on a bike, you can only get so much increase depending on how you play with the gearing. You are still going to be limited by the engine itself and also the aerodynamics of the platform. Which, being on a Grom, aerodynamics, what are those? But even going with a smaller front sprocket, so dropping a tooth in the front and going up 3 teeth in the back, you will have a slower acceleration and a slightly higher top speed, but not really. Like, I went on my Monster. The the original owner did a change to the sprockets to get a little quicker acceleration. Tops off at 63 according to every cop that hits me with a brake. Yeah. Yeah. Most of the interstate speed limits up this way, the speed limit says 65. But most people are going 75, 80. Or up around Boston, 90. When it's not bumper to bumper traffic. Oh, wait. So that would be in the middle of the night. I know you're out there listening, NANA. You can attest to that one. But, yeah, every now and then you do have to kind of take it easy, do a little more of a relaxation thing. And that's where I figured this video... Well, okay, Jimmy, it's only been a few months on this bike with the official license and everything. My first riding experience was a little over 20 years ago, but that was purely on track on a 125 GP style racer. But adult life, legal riding has only been this riding season. Remember, life insurance will only pay for medical when you no longer need medical. Yeah, gotta love the U.S. insurance system sometimes. Other times, you just have to laugh because, like many things, if you don't laugh, you'll just go crazy. And I guess that's the biggest thing. A lot of people look at someone being on a bike like Bostrom right here and just shake their head like, you're nuts. Why would you do that? Why would you do anything like that when you are literally out free in the wind? Yeah, he dropped a tooth in front to get the acceleration up. But right now it's back to the stock 15 tooth up front on the bike. So my acceleration, when I'm on the street, I'm not going for a quick acceleration because it's more about roll on, especially at highway to get out of trouble or anything. It's about that addition of velocity, not going from a standstill. Oh, yeah, Jimmy, so I'm down Rhode Island. I used to work a fuck ton up in the Boston area and actually still go up that way every now and then. There was actually a day a couple weeks ago where I had to deliver something up to Logan, and I was already on the bike. I had my bag and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll just take the bike up there this time. Why not? Hit the top speed on my Ford Transit, a blistering 92. Well, I will say I have found a stretch where I can let my Monster loosen up the legs and see what she's got. And I stopped at 115 on the speedometer. Let that sink in. I stopped at 115. Kind of makes you wonder, is the 124 stated and reported top speed the actual top speed? It very well could be. But at the same time, I will go up into that area, but I don't want to push it up against its red line because, I mean, it does have over 11,000 miles on the engine. So before I really want to push it that hard, probably be a wise idea to do a complete teardown and rebuild. Even just for preventative inspection purposes and all that happy fun stuff. However, that is not cheap. It is not quick. It can be easy, especially if I just drop the motor out of the frame, take it aside, and then do it all that way. But at the same time, that would either be an over the winter project or not until I have the second bike. That way, while that is all apart and being inspected and everything, I still have another ride. Because I will admit, if I go too many days without being on the bike, I start to feel it. I miss it. It bothers me. It especially bothered me earlier this week. Oh, so annoyances and bad luck. So the chain broke and stopped me from riding for a few days. When that happened, the cover for the tail light popped off. Got the new chain, got it on, did my typical checks, went for a ride, was fine. Rode it the next day, was fine. Day 3, I go out to give the bike a once-over before going for a ride. So I'm going through the actual full T-clocks thing. Checking my tires, checking my controls, checking the lights, and oh shit. The tail light is not responding to the brake lever. Huh. Is it just not responding to the lever? So I tried the foot control for the rear brake. And the tail light didn't change. It's like, okay, what the fuck? Is it stuck on? Because it was closer to the daylight, so it's difficult to tell if it was stuck on or if it just wasn't responding to the switches at the levers. Check everything. Dig through the manual to figure out, because there was the electrical schematics in there to figure out, okay, could it be a fuse? Oh, Bull, that chain issue was just the way the suspension flexed as I was getting on the gas with the chain had given itself a little too much slack, so it kinked and got stuck. So when the bike settled back out after being compressed, it popped the master link. So it was one of those, it was just sheer freaking luck that there wasn't more damage done to the bike and me. But the chain itself, instead of being able to be free moving, one of the links got wedged to the one behind it and shortened the chain by half a link, which put the strain onto the master link, which it gave up the ghost. But yeah, so after all that, a couple days of riding with the new chain, I noticed a taillight issue. So it's like, okay, did something happen to the taillight assembly itself, or was there something else going on? So dig through the manual and diagrams and find out that the horn and the brake light activation runs through the same fuse. So I test the horn. Horn works. It's like, okay, so I don't have to pull the fuse box. The fuse is good. So it's not that. then I go to actually take a look at the switches themselves. The switch at the front control, doing fine. The one at the rear appears to be doing fine. So it's just stuck, latched somewhere. And at this point, with it being an LED taillight, I'm assuming it's the taillight itself. So I order a replacement. I ordered the replacement on a Friday. Yeah, Friday or Saturday, I ordered the replacement. It's delivered Tuesday. So Tuesday, I go to install the new taillight. No instructions on the wiring. So, shot in the dark, have to take a guess at which lead is which. And when they're not labeled and just color-coded, they got the color code wrong. The international standard is yellow and green is your ground when you have that wire as an option. That wasn't the ground of this taillight. But finally figure it out. Get it installed. Go to test it. The taillight will turn on. But again, will not activate when the switch is activated. So, after a good half a day of playing with it, taking apart the right side foot peg area, come to find out there was some fouling that got into the switch for the rear brake lever. Got the original light back on and secured down, so tail light works, but the brake light only activates when I use the front brake lever. Which, if I'm slowing down and I'm on the brakes, I'm on the front. I'm not afraid of it. Some people are, which just baffles my mind. So, had to return the taillight. So right now, I'm waiting for the refund for the taillight that I ordered. But now the question remains. The taillight I have on there works right now. So, do I replace the failed switch at the rear foot, or just say fuck it and not deal with it, because a brand new part straight from Ducati for it starts at $35? Or do I spend a little less than that and go with one of the fancier and more legitimate taillights that I found that to me would be more aesthetically pleasing to the bike, because the taillight that's on there now was mismarked on its actual dimensions. So, I don't know. It's something I will ponder, because I have found a couple taillights that if I wanted to, I could also use them as integrated turn signals as well for the $25 range, and they will actually match the original taillight shape. So it utilizes the area just under the rear seat much more effectively. But actually, in this picture here, it would be similar shape to what you're seeing there. Whereas the one now is kind of inconspicuous. Some would say tiny, but, you know, it's big enough. It gets the job done. Fuck, how many innuendos can I make in one video where I'm just here by myself talking? I know. Well, with that, been rambling for almost an hour now. It has been a longer video, but I think that's how I'm going to keep it. So longer videos like this will be live streamed, interacting with you guys out there in the chat. This one did have that bit of a test to let me know that, yeah, streaming the one game Not gonna work for Kanar with Damar. Trying to stream Star Trek Online, my GPU is not up to the task. So that will have to wait for the more appropriate tower build that will end up replacing the setup I'm currently using now. And then I should be able to stream without the frame rate issues that I had before. People are afraid of endoing the bike with the front brakes. They forget that they can modulate their grip and panic. Yeah. Well, but, and here's the thing to remember as well. On even a cruiser style motorcycle, your front brake is anywhere from 70 to 80% of your stopping power. Across the board, it is 3/4 of your stopping power. So if you're not comfortable using it, you are handcuffing yourself and avoiding dangerous situations. So that's a comment I was waiting for. I knew someone out there was going to drop a "that's what she said." With that, this has been a fun, more relaxed thing. I do apologize for not having the polished riding footage style video available for you guys, but I think you'll enjoy the result of this next one. Beautiful area, beautiful ride, a lot of twists and turns. Let's just hope that there's no traffic in front of me, so I can really show you what it's capable of. And with that, thank you everyone for showing up. You guys, like always, for those that ride, you know this will mean the most to you, but even those in a car,